What's up, everybody? King Triple C here, the Olympic champion, flyweight champion, the bantamweight champion of the world. And I got a public service announcement to all you wannabe MMA casuals or MMA fans for that reason. You guys make sure to listen to my boy Story of the Fight with Will and Miro. You know why? Because Triple C said so. And if you don't, you can do me a favor and you can bend the knee to King Triple C 2.
But yeah, I was telling you, man, trying to keep up with the Giants over here, just like you say, I look in the future, so.
Oh, it's hard, yeah. 7
when the
o'clock
game
starts.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
it's tough, man.
7 o'clock for me.
Yeah, 9 for me. And then, by the time, 9th inning comes around, we're talking, I don't know, 11?
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of rough, man. So I've just been trying to catch as many highlights as possible. I mean, I'm not expecting too much from the Giants this year, unfortunately, but it's exciting, though. We're getting some sports back.
Yeah. Did you see the A's opening day? What happened there?
No, what happened?
Oh, dude. That one ended like 11:30 here because that went to extra innings. So it was opening day extra innings. First time MLB ever has used the runner on second rule to start the inning in extra innings.
What?
Yeah, they're doing it this year. It's been done a few times now, but opening day the A's were the only ones to do it. A's versus Angels, and so say you struck out to end the 9th, and then we go into the 10th. You start on second base.
Yeah.
And so no matter what, there's always a runner on second at the start of an extra inning, which is cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't really like it, but it worked out for the A's because Shohei Ohtani was on second base to start the top of the 10th for the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
And first batter grounds to Olsen at first base, and he just picks across the diamond to third.
Moves him over.
No, he didn't even move him over because Olsen just fired to third, and Ohtani got stuck in the middle. So they got Ohtani off second. So now 1 out, runner on first. So it was like, that's cool. We're good to go now. And then the A's come up in the bottom of the 10th. They held them. It was 3-3, and then I think Semyon was on second. Laureano was up. He got hit by a pitch. So now runners at first and second, no outs. And then Chapman was up. Chapman flew out or struck out or something. So 1 out, runners on first and second. And then Chris Davis comes up. He draws a walk, but also during his at-bat, there was a pass ball, so runners move to second and third. He draws a walk, bases loaded. They pull the pitcher. Matt Olson's up, pull the pitcher. New pitcher comes in. First pitch, fucking Olson takes him deep for a grand slam to walk it off.
Oh, damn, man.
Dude.
That sounds amazing.
Grand slam walk-off on opening day. So sick. So sick.
I mean, I don't know if it can get any better than that.
Yeah, what else?
That might be a bad omen for the rest of the year.
Oh, they lost yesterday, so we'll see what happens today. Yeah, they peaked.
Man. Have you watched any NBA whatsoever?
No, I don't really follow basketball. I never have.
No, but I mean, I haven't followed basketball a lot since really like mid-90s, late 90s. I catch some games here and there. When the Warriors were doing really well, it was a local team for us, right? So just started paying more attention to it. But I'm watching NBA with no fans, MLB with no fans, and then UFC with no fans. Dude, I gotta say, UFC, MMA is the best sport to watch without fans.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You know what I mean?
Without a doubt.
NBA, definitely not the same. You still appreciate the athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
And with MLB, it's cool, but man,
it's not cool with MLB.
It's just a different level with the UFC.
Yeah, it's not cool with MLB. They're using fake crowd sounds, and I cannot stand that.
Yeah, the Rangers over here are charging people $50 if they want to have they call it a doppelranger, so you can put a picture of yourself in the stands.
Well, yeah, most teams are doing something like that, yeah. And actually, the A's have on the right field bleachers, someone's cardboard cutout of their photo that they sent in is the Astros mascot sitting in a trash can, and they allowed it.
Nice.
So good.
That's pretty sick, man. Yeah, I mean, just watching the fights, I was thinking about that last night since I've gone to watch some MLB highlights and a little bit of NBA.
Yeah.
Just how much better MMA is without fans than these other sports. So we're definitely focusing on the right sport, Will.
Yeah. I mean, it sucked watching the opening day for the A's. The umpire was like, he wasn't calling like anything low in the zone for both sides, and it was terrible. And there was a bunch of bad calls, and it sucks because like you get no boos, so it's like,
Yeah,
it sucks. It's like, I don't know. It just seems super lame. But yeah, with MMA, it's like you get to hear the corners, you get to hear fighters talking shit to each other, you get to hear like actual impacts, like so good.
there was a three-punch combo that Till landed on Whitaker yesterday, where it sounded so loud.
Yeah.
And again, I was just like, man, I definitely miss hearing the fans in MMA as well.
Mm-hmm.
But if the fans were there, I probably wouldn't have heard the same impact.
Yeah.
Off that three-punch combo than I did yesterday. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. It also makes some moments a little gnarlier, without crowd noise, because it's just like, yeesh.
Yeah. So yesterday, my favorite part of the entire night was probably watching Bethe Correia. Bethe Correia asked for the high five, turn around, and Khamzat was like, nah.
Yeah.
Let me give you
Dude, she lit her up, dude.
Oh, man. Lit her up. And the best part is you see Bethe Correia turn towards like the ref and turn towards Khamzat like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What? And then she's like, all right, I guess I'll just clinch real quick since I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And then she turns back, looks after the horn sounds, and the ref's just like, gotta listen for the horn.
And she nodded. She's like, shit, you're right.
You're right. I mean, what is she going to say to that?
Yeah.
You know, she hears the 10-second warning, wants to give a high five. Dude, she's going to get pieced up real quick.
Dude, just put her hands down, starts walking away. Oh, my God. She landed a few good shots so there. Funny.
She did. The very first shot she landed, you could tell right away. They did not expect that.
Yeah, she's like, what the
fuck? I texted you right away when I saw that. It was so funny.
Dude, what's funny is that's how I realized you were like 10 seconds ahead. Because you said, I can't believe that just happened.
Oh, really?
And I was like, nothing is happening in this fight. Like, nothing worth saying anything. And then it happened, and I was like, oh, shit. It's so good.
Definitely my favorite part of the night.
Yeah, it's got to be. That's so
what
funny.
Fight did you want to start off with?
That's a perfect place to start. I don't really want to talk much about that fight just because just not a great fight, you know. But so we'll move on. Shout out to Boser. We don't need to spend too much time on that fight, but yeah, shout out to Boser. Clean left hook that he landed, and it's scary when you see someone get hit in the face and their immediate reaction is like, he wasn't like wobbled, you know. It didn't like take off his equilibrium or anything, but it was just like, that hurts like a motherfucker, and like pulled his eye, and it's like, oh shit, dude. It reminded me of when Mirko fought Bob Sapp, and he broke his lower bone with that punch, and it's like, that sucks to see. And that was another one where it's like, well, something we're gonna talk about multiple times was the reffing of that fight, because you see someone go down like that, holding their eye in pain with their hand out, like, please don't. Stop coming at me.
Don't hurt me anymore. Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
The only other thing he could have done is sat down and started tapping on the mat.
Yeah.
Or, you know, that's the only other thing he could have done.
Yeah, which is, I think in that moment is hard. Like, instinctually, that's not something you even think about being an option. So it's hard to, like, have the wherewithal to do that, you know?
Yeah, which, again, is why the rift's there, right? And I think, like you said, those telltale signs, holding his eye, holding the arm, I think you'd be like, oh, dude's done.
Yeah.
Like, he's not trying to take any more punishment. The only other thing he could have done was crouched in the fetal position.
Yeah.
Right? And just covered up as much as he could. But, man, poor guy.
Yeah. Boser said... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, one of the themes of the night for me was just movement.
Yeah.
Boser kept on bouncing up and down, looked really light on his feet. Right? And he's a heavyweight, right? So I was thinking... to see a heavyweight bouncing around like that, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he moves well for being a heavyweight for sure. He also said at the end of the fight, he said, "I know that first round probably wasn't the most fun to watch, but he was like, I'm setting stuff up. Like I'm laying tendencies that are actually gonna allow me to land the strikes that I really want to land later on in the fight," and it worked for him. He also said that when he threw that left, he said he felt on his knuckle the soft spot of the actual eyeball.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And it's like, that's legal, man. It's not like he tried to do that, but I mean,
yeah,
fuck, dude.
that was rough.
That's
that
rough.
was rough. And in watching the fight too, and like I said, seeing Boser's movement, and I was wondering, I wonder if he's somebody that can do damage at 205.
Yeah, he seems almost a little small for heavyweight.
Oh shit, my headset went out.
Oh fuck. They die or what? I'm not talking either, so.
Testing.
Yeah, I'm talking right now.
Fuck, I can't hear anything. Son of a bitch.
We did it.
Where did we leave off? I don't even know.
Boser. He moves like a light heavyweight.
Oh, yes. Yes. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. Lessons learned as we're going through this, man. But, yeah, what I was saying is I wonder if he has the capability of getting down to 205. Because I think just with his build, right, he's not the biggest heavyweight in the world.
Yeah.
That he'd be able to make it down to 205 and probably cause him trouble down there. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see where he weighed in at. Do you know?
While you're looking at that, how about no, I'm not sure, but
235.
one of the funny comments that they had made was that he looks like a rehabilitated Roy Nelson.
Yeah. Yeah. He's rocking that
I
mullet.
thought that was
missing
hilarious.
teeth.
Yeah. When they said that, I was like, oh shit, I could totally see that.
Yeah. Yeah. He looks good. He's got quick hands. I'd like to see him continue to fight higher in the division. And also that stoppage wasn't the worst stoppage. It looked worse because the eye thing and all that. But it wasn't like the worst stoppage I've ever seen. You know what I mean? I just want to touch go back to that real quick because I know we talked about it, but I just didn't want it to seem like I thought that was like a travesty or anything like that, you know?
No, I think that there was a worse one later on in the fights than that one for sure. But still, I think you just pointed out a really good point when you said that when he hit his eye and held his arm out. There's just a couple things that I think referees should be looking out for that, would be indicative of the fighter essentially saying, I can't take anymore.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, in that moment, in the heat of the moment as a ref, you might think that he's doing this thing to say, like, hey, I just got eye poked, but it's not like, oh, like, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, it could have just been like, hey, let's take a set because I think I just got eye poked, and Herb Dean could have been like, nah, it was a clean punch, but not it might not have registered, But I don't know.
That's a good point.
Who's to say?
No, I mean, well, again, I was pretty impressed with Boser, and I'm excited to see him fight going forward and see what else he might be able to do in the division.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in that division,
after yesterday, I kept on thinking that the heavyweight division is starting to look a little more and more exciting.
Yeah, they need people like that.
There was a few heavyweights. Yeah. The next fight was Evloev versus Grundy.
Yeah. That was a cool fight.
What'd you think?
That was a cool fight.
It was.
Grundy is good. He's not like elite. He could continue to improve and stuff and get there, but Evloev looked he looked like he had an answer everywhere. Like every time he got taken down, it was like his ability to scramble and create space and get right back up and just like put it all together from every facet. Striking, the leg kicks were great, throwing knees up the middle. His hands looked fantastic, and then his one like weakness in the fight was his takedown defense, but his ability to
Takedown defense.
yeah, but his ability to get right back up. And Grundy's a good wrestler. It's not like he's getting taken down by a slouch and getting held down. Like the fact that he was able to get down and pop right back up or create those scrambles, that was cool to see, promising.
Yeah, and those takedowns seemed to get a little bit harder for Grundy to get as the fight went on, right? So in the beginning, you saw a couple easy takedowns. In the second round, I really liked seeing what Grundy was doing because he started noticing that Evloev was picking up on when he was shooting.
Yeah.
And so he would change levels, pretend to go for the takedown, and then pop right back up with the hook.
Mm-hmm.
And he caught Evloev a couple times with that. But then after that, it's almost like he ran out of things for Evloev.
Yeah.
Because the third round came out, and I think, just with his technical striking, he just coasted to an easy victory, I think, by the end of the third there with, his boxing.
Yeah, it looked like, the third round, at that point, it was like he was just, I don't want to say putting on a clinic, but kind of everything he was doing was working. Didn't seem like he had to really, try very hard. He wasn't, overexerting to land shots or anything like that. He just kind of looked comfortable, like, I can fight at this pace. I'm winning this. And just kind of, he looked good, looked sharp.
Yeah, I thought it was an easy decision, for the judges.
Definitely.
And then looking at him, 13-0 overall. I think they said 3-0 in the UFC, right? So in your mind, what do you think is next for Evloev?
The featherweight division is cool right now. I think that was a good step up for him, because it's not like a huge fight for him, or it's not like he's fighting like a top 5 guy or anything like that. But it was a good step up, and just like a good from like a stepping stone type of view. You're looking at, let's see, you got, it would be a fun fight for him, is Ryan Hall, but that's not going to happen. That'd be a fun fight, but Hall is scheduled to fight Lamos, right?
Yeah. And with Hall, too, I feel like a lot of people try to avoid Hall.
I wouldn't want to fight him.
Yeah.
There's no upside
just
to fighting him.
Exactly. It's not going to be an exciting fight. You're probably not going to be looking at a bonus of the night, right? So the risk and reward factor is off balance.
Yeah.
And you risk an L, a loss from Ryan Hall, because all it takes is an Imanari roll or something, gets you straight into a heel hook, and it's your night's done.
Yeah, another good fight would be like Shane Burgos or Sadiq Youssef would be a cool fight.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I like that. Right on, man. So I don't have anything else on the fight unless you do.
No, he just looked good. Someone to look for in the future. Keep watching him.
Yeah, and then again, earlier we mentioned how with the heavyweights, you got to see some fresh blood in, right? Some fresh meat in the heavyweights, and I was excited to see this next guy, Aspinall.
Yeah, he looks, his hands, oh my God. Obviously, the guy he fought, no disrespect, but not the toughest opponent. But I mean,
Collier?
Yeah, but when you're in Tom Aspinall's position and these are the fights that you're getting right now, you have to do exactly what he did and like make a statement saying like I'm a step above this level of competition. I mean,
yeah, thank you for bringing me into the UFC and introducing me to the UFC with Collier. Collier looked like he's in his last evolution of Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like when you take a look at all the different weight classes he's been in, and the evolution of it, dude, at the end, when they called the fight, in his face, he just looked like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Right. I'm hoping that it's not just something desperation, money grab real quick, just trying to cash in as much as you can, one last fight or something. But definitely out of shape. Different Collier than from when he first stepped into the UFC. And for some of these fighters, once they start fighting, it's kind of hard for them to find something else to do.
Yeah.
And so it looked like he wasn't very well prepared, I guess, for this fight, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, a very good fight for someone like Aspinall. a very good fight for that. Just for where he's at in his career.
I think in one of the previous podcasts we also spoke about how we would like the UFC to get some of these younger stars, people coming in that we think have a lot of potential, and give them some easier fights as they're working their way up. And I think, again, like you said, this would be a perfect example of the UFC doing just that.
Yep.
You know, this guy was coming in with very high remarks. Everybody's speaking very highly of him that has seen him train and coming up in his last league.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, perfect fight.
Yeah, great fight. And he obviously, it's not like, oh, he rose to the occasion and fought this like super talented, like high level guy, and like he rose to the occasion and made a statement, but he did rise to the occasion that he was put in, and capitalized and did exactly what you have to do when you're getting those fights. There's other fighters who are supposed to be up and coming, and they're getting these not easy fights, but the favorable matchups to kind of have them go with the ladder.
Build them up.
Yeah, and then they're taking them to decision, making it closer than it needs to. What you need to do in those situations is make a statement like that, and he made a statement. His hands are so fast. That combo that dropped him, holy shit, dude! It was like, man, I was like, oh fuck, it's crazy, man. For heavyweight, those hands are quick.
And again, for me, one of the things I was focusing on for the entire night was just movement, right? And part of that movement is speed. And I'm really excited to see some of these newer heavyweights and see what they're going to be able to do. And I know that we have a heavyweight fight coming up here pretty soon that I'm pretty excited about as well. And we can talk about that there at the end of the podcast. But this next fight, Ronson versus Dalby.
An upset. An upset.
Dalby versus Ronson, man.
Yeah, Dalby was supposed to win that fight.
Yeah.
It sounds shitty to say, but he's supposed to win that fight. He just got caught.
He looked like the larger opponent, right? Yeah. In the beginning, he came out with total disregard for Brunson's power, through caution to the wind, and I think he thought that if he felt Ronson's power, he wouldn't have to worry about getting stunned or getting knocked out, right? And you could see that, man. He just came in and he tried to make it a quick fight. Yeah. And it was a quick fight.
It was very quick.
But not in his favor.
It was half a round.
Not in his favor, man. No. You know, and so
respect
good for Ronson. I think he moved up in weight class, went up against a larger opponent. And again, Dalby just seems so much bigger than him.
Yeah, he looked massive.
And when he clinched him up against the cage and you saw how wide his back was, and I thought, you know, if he just continues clinching, you know, he might be able to make it an easy night.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Nope. You get caught sometimes.
So that was a quick fight. And Ronson was saying that he's thinking about going back down in weight class, which I think would be a good move for him.
I think so. Because there's bigger guys in welterweight than Dalby.
Yeah, you know? And, you know, if we get a welterweight for him that is a little bit smarter with his approach, again, it would be a long night, I think, for Dalby.
Yeah. For Ronson or Dalby?
For Ronson, I'm sorry. Yeah, it'd be a long night for Ronson if he goes up against a larger opponent that takes a more cerebral approach.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, not much else to say about that. The next one was...
Well, again, when it's only half a round.
Yeah, what are you going to say? This next one.
Trinaldo and Herbert?
Yeah. So, 100 years old.
Yeah, what fight?
100 years old, Trinaldo.
Solid.
Yeah. He looked good. He looked in good shape. Obviously, he missed weight. Who knows what happened there? I don't know. I don't know the details there, but for 41 years old, especially in that division, not a lot of 41-year-olds competing at lightweight. You know, usually heavyweights, you have some older guys, but at lightweight, that's a young man's game. And he looked good. That first round, he looked good. Heavily slowed down. And Herbert, or is it Herbert or Herbert?
Herbert is how they kept on pronouncing it last night. So okay. I'd have to ask Herbert or Herbert himself to see what his
I'll call him
correct pronunciation is.
I mean, he looked good too. I've seen him fight before in like other organizations and stuff, and he's actually he lost to another guy we're going to talk about back in the day. Got KO'd again or as well, but he's promising. His striking, I think he just gets. I've seen him multiple times just get like stuck in the groove, you know,
Yeah.
where he everything's flowing. I mean, he lost that first round in my opinion, and then came back and had a very strong second round, where it looks like, okay, yeah, he's gonna kind of run away with this from here on out. And it just looked like he got too comfortable with a lead, and maybe thought Trinaldo had nothing left, and was just kind of just picking him apart from the outside, landing long shots that looked really good, but just kind of became a little careless.
Yeah, and I hope that he watched some film on Trinaldo before, because if he did, he would have known that he's got power.
Yeah.
Right, and everybody knows that the last thing to go is your power as
Yeah.
you start getting older, and you also start developing old man strength,
Yep.
which Trinaldo seemed to have, right? And in the first round, Trinaldo looked really good, like you said. Caught him in a guillotine, and I don't know if he gassed his arms out a little bit on that one too, because he was squeezing pretty damn hard for an extended period of time. I would have liked Trinaldo to see that get down on the lower level with the guillotine, because he stood up, and when he stood up holding the guillotine, he helped Herbert stand up as well, which allowed him to escape. So
because
I
Herbert's so
would
much
have liked
taller.
it.
That standing guillotine is not going to work on someone like that.
Yeah, so that was a huge mistake on his part. And again, it wasn't until the next round that I saw that Trinaldo started slowing down quite a bit. Herbert had a really good straight that was working for him.
Yeah, really long.
Knocked Trinaldo on his ass a couple times.
Yeah, not a lot of fat on his strikes. Just straight to the point. Nope. Really slick.
Yep, exactly. And when he took Trinaldo's back, and he was able to get the body triangle in, I thought he had an opportunity to possibly finish the fight there.
Yeah.
Right, but you're right. In that last round, he got a little too comfortable, too reckless.
It's a little complacent.
And he just got caught with that shot right to the temple. And this is the one that I had the biggest problem when it comes to referee stoppage.
Yeah.
Because when he went back, he had his hand up to try to protect himself, but it got through the temple, and his hand stayed up, stiffened up, and he fell straight back.
It was kind of scary because it almost seemed like he thought he was still upright, and he was still waiting for the next shot.
Equilibrium gone.
But not realizing that he was already at this level, and just still, and even then once he fell, he still had it pinned, and I've never seen that before. You see people get knocked stiff, but.
And with Trinaldo, I think that showed a lot about Trinaldo too, when he went up to him and stood above him and just cocked his arm back and just stared at Herbert.
Like, I don't need to hit this guy again,
Yeah, and when Herbert said, if he dies, he dies. And so he's like, all right, dude, and he just landed a couple more blows. I think everybody was upset with that, right? Herbert's corner had the right to be upset with that. You heard the announcers be very open about how Herb Dean messed up.
We go back to
Dan Hardy.
Yeah, we go back to the lack of crowd where you can hear everything. Right before Hardy interviewed Trinaldo, you can hear him in the background, and Felder he was like, "Well, sorry, I got a little distracted there, like mid-sentence, he like broke him up," and you could hear Hardy and Herb going back and forth. You could hear Herb say, "You do your job, I'll do mine," and man. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, and Dan Hardy. I mean, think about it for Herb Dean too, right? When he's standing there and all he hears is Dan Hardy say, "What are you doing? Stop the fight." So I could see how, as a referee, it might be irritating, right? Because you're trying to do your job, but at the same time, Dan Hardy, he's walked the walk, man. He's been in that octagon. He knows how important fighter safety is, and again, like we talked about before, he knows exactly what the ref's job is, which is to protect the fighters. So when they're not being protected, yeah, man, like he's gonna get upset, right? And I saw a few pictures of him afterwards where he's trying to kind of like lean over his booth and yell into the fence, and Herb Dean's right up against the fence too, and they're, man, I would have loved to hear that entire interaction.
There's a video. Someone recorded it from outside of the cage. Them both, yelling at each other. But there's like music playing in the arena, and you can't really hear. Again, you can hear the "You do your job, I'll do mine," but you can't really. other than that, nothing really like comes through, and it's like shit. I would have loved to hear what they're
Oh,
actually
I would
saying.
love to hear that too, man. And I get it, Herb. You do your job, I'll do mine.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
don't
Hardy ended up
think,
saying it as well back to him.
yeah, and I don't think Hardy is saying, like, I want to do your job. I think what he's just saying is do your job, but do your job well.
Yeah,
And not to knock on Herb Dean, because Herb Dean is probably the best referee out there, especially since McCarthy's gone. But yeah, I mean, don't get upset at the fighters. Don't get upset at an ex-fighter when he says protect the fighters, because that's your job.
yeah,
And if you look back at this fight and take a look at the stoppage and don't think to yourself that you messed up after that late stoppage, then your ego's probably getting too big, or you're getting burnt out.
yeah,
You might not be doing the right thing anymore. I don't know.
yeah. And to take Herb's defense a little bit, we don't know. He might have been like, "Man, I fucked that one up." You know, I haven't heard him defend it, but also it's such a touchy thing to try to navigate around because you don't want to come at Herb there and make him feel like shit. Regardless of if he fucked up and he deserves it, regardless if you think that, he's still going to be reffing more fights that night. So do you want him in his own head now, thinking about, man, I really fucked that up. Everybody's mad at me, all this shit, or do you want him to be able to focus on the fight and maybe we pull him aside at the end and say, hey, you fucked up on this one. He might be like, yeah, I know, I fucked up. Like it happens sometimes, and I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna watch it again and see what I can do to improve in my role. So it's like I get both sides. There's fault and but there's also things that need to be defended on both sides. I know a lot of people are coming at Dan Hardy saying it was unprofessional of him to do that in his position at that moment. But at the same time, like you said, he used to be a fighter. He's been in situations where people are taking more damage than they should. So you have to see where he's coming from in that regard. But also, on the flip side, maybe not the most professional thing to yell it out like that in that moment. I get the heat of the moment. And then for Herb, it's like, yeah, he fucked up. That was a bad decision for him. He should have jumped in sooner. Clearly didn't need those extra follow-up shots. But at the same time, he might already know I fucked up, but I still have a job to do in these next few fights. I'm going to ref again tonight. I need to focus on those, and then we're going to address that. So it's like they're both at fault for certain things. It's just a shitty situation all around. It sucks.
Yeah, the only thing is that they're both at fault, yes, but one of them creates long-term damage, and the other one is a slap in the wrist saying, hey, just don't yell out during a fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So they both did something wrong, but one of them has more serious consequences to the people that you're trying to protect.
Yeah.
And that's where I see, like, me personally, I love that. I saw that, and I was like, you tell him, Dan Hardy, because we've been talking about this already for the longest time.
And we're going to continue to.
So,
it's never going to be perfect.
Yep.
It's going to always happen.
No. Especially when there's, such, like, bang, bang, shots that happen, knockdowns that happen. At the same time, they're probably thinking about all the early stoppages they had. And for Herb Dean, I think about, like, Robbie Lawler, for example.
Yeah.
Where they pop right back up and they're like, dude, I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So, but again, as a referee, I'm just speaking for myself personally. I would sleep so much better at night knowing that I had an early stoppage than I had a late stoppage, and dude's probably going to have slurred speech a year earlier than he would have before I ref that fight due to me stopping it late. That's just me.
100%, and especially when it's not a championship fight. If he loses this fight, it's his UFC debut. If he loses this fight, it's not like he's gonna get cut. It's not like he's gonna have more opportunities in the UFC. It just sucks all around. It just sucks.
Yeah, we'll move on from this one, man. This next one I'm so excited about.
What's next?
Chimaev.
Oh God.
Versus Mickey.
We talked about him before, dude, for good reason, man. That guy.
Animal.
Yeah. And the guy he fought, is who we were talking about. He knocked out Herbert back in the day.
Yep. So for me personally, this was story of the fight for me, Will.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it is because this guy has the fastest turnaround in the history of the UFC. You know, when we take a look at his 2 fights combined, I have it down here somewhere. Oh, there it is. 192 strikes to 2.
Yeah.
In his last 2 fights combined. 192 strikes to 2. And this last fight, 0.
Yeah.
The 2 strikes came from the one last week.
And not just in the last 2 fights, but his only 2 fights in the UFC.
Oh my
That's
God.
insane.
This guy is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And I said before that he reminds me a lot of Gamedov, right? And
Khabib.
a lot of what he does is very, very Khabibish, right?
Well, everybody's
Khabibish.
calling him Khabib. It's perfect.
He's an absolute monster, and I'm just so excited. And we talk about the UFC wanting to get these newer athletes and newer fighters and to build them up. But after yesterday and seeing Chimaev fight again, I could see why sometimes the UFC doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Because
Dana
Dana White is a fan as well.
Yeah.
Right? When you think about everybody that works for the UFC, all the matchmakers, they're fans as well. So me as a fan, seeing Chimaev right away yesterday after that fight, I started doing what I was saying the UFC shouldn't do, which is thinking about all these huge names that he could fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, slow your roll, Miro, slow your roll, because this is, he's still fresh within the UFC. But then after seeing his performance, after listening to his confidence, he's backing it up. After his last interview, he said, I'll smash everybody.
Yeah.
Right? He came in with McKee. Dude, I again, don't feel bad for fighters very often. Felt bad for this dude. Just like I did last week for John Phillips. Man, anybody that's going to be facing Chimaev is going to have their hands absolutely full.
Yeah. Literally.
That Dagestan wrestling is no joke.
Well,
and nonstop pressure.
Yeah, and just like insane from the short amount of time we've seen him fight, the actual like time that he's been in the cage, just such great fight IQ. To be able to start the fight 10 seconds in, he set up the takedown with a kick, right? Was it a kick?
Yep.
He went high and then dropped down. It's like, son of a bitch, he's quick to be able to do that. But then also got the underhooks, lifted him up, carries him back over to his corner.
Oh my God, when I saw that.
Dude, just so cerebral.
I would have loved to know what McKee was thinking in his head when he got picked up and carried over like a child. He's probably like, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, this is how it's going to go.
Yeah.
This is how it's going to go.
Guess
it is what it is. And dropped him right next to his corner. Yeah.
Dude.
Oh my God. And in the first 2.5 minutes into the round, I believe he already had 43 strikes in on McKee.
Yeah.
In the first 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not.
And so
it's not lay and pray.
Long night.
It's not lay and pray. He's not taking you down and controlling you. He's taking you down and fucking smashing you. And he does this thing where he'll get almost like a side saddle, like a in between mount and taking someone's back. Khabib does it too, and he'll kind of tie you up on the side, and he'll reach around and then just like come from behind with these punches, and he's clubbing with like this part of his knuckles, where there's no glove. And he's just...
It sounded like it hurt.
Yeah, and not just that, but you're going to bruise way more. You're just going to wear the damage, which later on in his career, if he's able to continue doing stuff like that, just in the eyes of the judges, they're going to be seeing these people all battered up and bruised. And it's like, man, he's got a future. Obviously, like you said, his 2 fights, the opponents that he's had aren't like super top-level guys. But so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do against someone at a higher caliber, and also someone with good wrestling accolades, to see if they get canceled out. But man, he's going to be interesting to watch.
Dude, I'm like smiling right now because I'm just so excited about Chimaev.
Yeah. How about he wants to fight
I'm a big
again?
fan of his already.
You see that?
I know. He said
August 15th.
So one of my favorite parts was on the interview where he kept on calling Dan Hardy brother.
Yeah.
Brother. I fight anybody, brother.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my God, I love this guy. So a couple of my favorite quotes. Where's my belt? I smash everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Brother, that don't matter. Smash the whole division.
Yeah.
I was typing in my favorite quotes from him. I want to fight today. Also, brother, I want to fight one more. What can I say? This guy, after the interviews, after watching him just literally smashing people, not taking any damage, I'm officially on his job, man. I'm on his nuts.
Yeah.
I am riding the Chimaev train. I think he's going to be fantastic the rest of the way. I'm so excited to see where his career goes. And again, going against what I said before in the past, but give him a big name already. I want to see what he does.
Yeah, and then I mean, he won performance bonuses in his first 2 UFC fights 10 days back to back. So it's extra $100K in the bank in 10 days. Yeah, on top of whatever he's making. I don't know what his contract is, but I'm sure he's not making a ton. His show
he made more
bonus.
off the performance and night bonuses guaranteed.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the fact that Dana's trying to make it happen for him to fight in August 15th.
You know Dana loves this guy, man. You know Dana loves this guy.
That's the perfect company person for Dana. He's exciting. He finishes fights, and he wants to. 10 days notice, and now he's trying to fight next month. Come on.
Please let him fight. Please let him fight.
Dana said he's gonna make it happen.
Have him on every card.
Yeah, I know.
Just have him on every card, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So with Khabib saying that he has 2 more fights.
Yeah.
Before he retires, and it's gonna be Justin Gaethje. We know it's gonna be a fight.
Yeah.
Then after that, I really believe that we're gonna see him fight Conor, the rematch.
I hope not.
I really think it will be, just because Conor's gonna continue talking that shit and that trash.
Yeah,
right?
but
Khabib's gonna want to shut him up one last time and just go out. Who else is he gonna fight?
Tony. I still want to see him fight
that
Tony.
Fight's cursed.
I don't care.
That fight's cursed.
I don't care. Conor has absolutely zero to offer other than talking trash. That's all he has.
Dustin Poirier has that Louisiana voodoo doll on Tony fucking Ferguson, and anytime he's gonna fight Khabib, that little voodoo doll comes out. Something always happens, man. I really don't think we're gonna see that fight. I don't
think so either, but I just do not I have zero interest in watching Khabib versus Conor again. Absolutely zero.
Look, and I'm sure there's a lot of people like you that have zero interest in watching that fight, but will you watch it?
I mean, I'll watch it because I'll watch the rest of the card also.
There you go.
But that's not a good question for me because I watch every card.
But, okay, so when you take a look at Dana White also likes money, right? He likes bringing in big pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah.
And if he knows he's going to have 2 more fights out of Khabib, one of them is Justin Gaethje to unify the belts, right? Guaranteed. Then the last one, how much money can you make off of his last fight, and who would that be?
Who's going to pin him up against? Yeah, if you're looking for just for the money, right? It's Conor. But at the same time, who's the next most profitable fight for Khabib? It's Tony. Even if he lost to Khabib or to Gaethje, you have Tony fight Poirier or somebody, get him a win, and have that fight. And also Khabib or Khabib, he's always said, I'm about legacy. I don't care about money. I'm about legacy. And we've also seen that Dana can't really force Khabib into doing anything that he doesn't want to do. I think Khabib wants that Tony fight specifically because his dad has always been like, the Tony fight is the legacy fight. That's the biggest fight for my son. Now that he's gone, I think Khabib's going to be like, you know what? I'm still honoring father's plan. I fight Gaethje. He's the next in line. And then I'm going to fight Tony. I think even if Tony sits out, Khabib still wants to fight Tony next, even if Tony's last fight is losing to Gaethje, just to honor his dad. And I don't think the UFC can force him to do anything.
I think about Tony versus Poirier, like you said. Mm-hmm. That's not a guaranteed win for Tony. No. So let's say that they pin him up against a Poirier. He takes another loss, so he's coming off 2 losses in a row. I just don't see UFC making that fight.
If he fights again and he loses, I don't see it happening. That being said, I still think Tony, he lost to Gaethje. And there's a ton of things that came into that fight. Obviously, Gaethje's super high level and super talented. I love Gaethje. There's the short notice thing. Completely different opponent that Tony was preparing for. Very hard fight to take on short notice for anybody. And I still think Tony beats everybody else in the division. I really do. Tony, even after that loss, I don't think it's going to change him very much. Like, that dude doesn't give a shit. He's going to fight exactly the same way.
Yeah.
He's fucking violent, dude. And everybody else in that division is hittable. And Tony will fuck you up, dude, and he does not get tired. So I still think he beats anybody in that division. And I still think the most interesting matchup for Khabib is Tony.
Well, when we think about legacy fights, right? What do you think? So something that would kind of build up his legacy a little bit more, and at the same time make the UFC a couple extra bucks. How can they meet in the middle? And what if Masvidal comes back down to 155? What if they're able to coax GSP out of retirement? GSP looked pretty big though in his last fight, so I don't know if he'd be able to wait for that fight.
Those are the two legacy fights for Khabib are Tony or GSP, and that's it in my opinion, because he already beat Conor. Imagine if you can say this. Okay, Khabib has beat Gleison Tibau, Thiago Tavares, Abel Trujillo, Pat Healy, RDA, Horcher, Michael Johnson, Barboza, Iaquinta, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Gaethje, and then Tony. Imagine if you say the whole list, but you go Michael Johnson, Barboza, Iaquinta, Conor, Poirier, Gaethje, Conor. And they're always going to be like, would have been sick if he fought Tony. That's the only other thing that the only stone that he didn't leave unturned would be Tony in that situation. And that's always going to come up if you talk about his legacy if he never fights Tony. And he retires after 2 fights and he doubles up on Conor. There's just no point to double up on Conor. He just ragdolled him. You know what I mean? It's like, I get the money thing, but it's at that point it's only about money and it's not about legacy. And I don't think Khabib is down for that.
Yeah, I guess I just don't want to be disappointed another time. You know, what is that, 5 times that the fight has fallen through?
Yeah, but in my opinion, I'd be disappointed watching Khabib ragdoll Conor again, which I think is exactly what would happen.
So let's say GSP. That for me, there we go. After this conversation, I'd say GSP, bring him back. Let's see if we can coach him out of retirement, show him the money, right?
That's the only other fight.
I think for somebody that wants to build a legacy, he could still see GSP as somebody that will help him do that. But I just, again, I've gone through enough heartbreak already with Ferguson versus Nurmagomedov that I'm literally just over the conversation already.
Yeah, I get it.
Seeing those two fight. Would I have liked to see it in the past? Absolutely. I would have loved to see it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times already.
Yeah.
Right? And then this last time where I was just thinking, we're getting so close, this is finally going to happen.
And a fucking pandemic.
And a pandemic. Dude, that's how much the universe doesn't want this fight to happen, where they're like, let's just spread the shit throughout the world and it's not going to go down.
Yeah.
You know, so it is what it is, man. This next fight, Cowboy Oliveira versus Sabata.
I don't have much to say about this one, to be honest.
Okay.
Oliveira did exactly what I thought. Sabata retired after the fight. I think he broke his hand during the fight. He's cool, you know, he's UFC caliber. He's just never gotten past that hump, that level hump, where Oliveira has always been right at the edge of that hump. He's just always sat.
That tier.
Yeah.
There's different tiers, right? There's levels.
Yeah.
In watching Cowboy Oliveira, I always enjoy watching Cowboy Oliveira
fight. I'll never miss a fight.
He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. He's super exciting, but you know, out of all the times that I've watched him fight, I think this is the best I've ever seen Cowboy.
You look great.
You know, the way that he was maintaining his distance, using his range. You know, I did notice that there's a lot of hand fighting going on with his lead hand with the left. It caused him to give him a little eye poke.
Well, if you look
at a little baby poke in the eye.
Every time Oliveira fights, there's something. Every single time. Every fight. The Gunnar Nelson fight, the shots to the back of the head when Gunnar was shooting in, there's always something. An eye poke, grabbing the fence, grabbing gloves. Always at least one. It's fucking crazy.
Dude, that front kick, though, that he continued utilizing throughout the entire fight, I don't know if you noticed, but after, I want to say it was the second round when he kept on going, Sabata started reacting heavily to that feint. You know, he would just turn a little bit, and his hands would just come down immediately. Yeah. And I said, oh, here we go. He's going to want to start mixing in some high kicks there. You know, but he didn't mix in too many high kicks, but still, I think that he did a fantastic job. His boxing looked good. He was light on his feet. You know, he was bouncing back and forth quite a bit. And like I said, that lead hand, the work that he was doing and sneaking that straight right in really quickly, I thought he looked really, really good.
Just a phenomenal arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
Just a repertoire of just like different strikes coming from weird angles. He throws that uppercut from down by his hip, just like, and at range too, you know, like he's able to fighters hit that flow state sometimes, and he hit it in that fight where
Mm-hmm.
it's just the creative juices are flowing, and I'm just going to throw everything from
Yeah.
whatever angle I can, and it's going to land, and there's really nothing you can do about it. And that's where he ended up in that fight.
Yeah, lopsided victory. I had it 30-27 all the way, and uh, I like seeing fighters like this because UFC, I mean, you have Cowboy Oliveira that's been in the UFC
Mm-hmm.
for quite some time already,
Yeah.
but I continue seeing an evolution
Yeah.
in his fight game, and that's the type of stuff I really like seeing. He's still an exciting fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He's still a very exciting fighter, but I continue seeing different tools in his arsenal, and I hope that we continue seeing some type of evolution with Cowboy Oliveira, and that he continues fighting for a long time because I love watching him fight, man.
Yeah, and for some reason, it seems like there's certain fighters who just every single time they get announced, the matchup is favorable for the viewer. Like every time he fights, it's like, oh, he's fighting who? Hell yeah, that's gonna be a war, or at least like we're gonna get to see some like fun stuff. Like he just always has fun fights. He's never fought like a dull opponent, not once. And like that must suck for him, but like for us, like that's great.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that he'll do whatever he can to not make it a dull fight.
Definitely.
So I just love watching him fight, man.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's move on here. Antigolov versus Craig.
The Bear Jew. The Bear Jew.
Yeah. When I saw him, I was like, oh, dude, Will's gonna. I'm sure he already loves Craig, but I'm sure that you love that finish.
Dude, how many triangles does he have? Like 6 now?
I don't know. He has a shit ton though, and I think they said 10
So
submissions out of his last 12 victories.
Yeah, he's I love submissions, and the fact, and not just that, he's submitting like all these Dagestani guys. They must fucking hate him. Like even going into this fight, they were like, yeah,
The
Antigolov.
Dagestani killer.
Yeah, everybody's like, Antigolov's he's coming into this fight looking for revenge. What does he do? Gets triangled just like everybody else. Fuck, man. Like,
Yeah.
and,
What ends up happening though is like with this, Dagestanis might end up hating him, but there's going to be a certain level of respect after a while.
definitely.
I think about like Manny Pacquiao when he was the Mexican killer for the longest time with Barrera, and Morales. A lot of my favorite fighters growing up, and I hated Pacquiao at first, and I just had this large amount of respect for Pacquiao and what he was able to do in the ring against a lot of my favorite fighters. So I'm sure eventually he's going to have a lot of Dagestani fans.
Yeah,
eventually.
It's the same as Sakuraba. Everybody loves Sakuraba.
Yeah, exactly.
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 I saw people were complaining about that Craig cheated when he was setting up the triangle, and that he had his toes in the cage to hold.
The cage.
Yeah, to hold him down and keep the triangle before he fully set it up. And I don't agree with that, because at that point he was so bunched up against the cage that there's really not room to remove that leg off of yourself. And on top of that, he does something that Dustin Poirier does a lot too when he tries to set up his triangle, is he gets deep with an overhook on one of your sides, and you're trapped there.
Yep.
So it's not like he used the cage to hold him in. He was holding him. He had that arm trapped, so you're stuck like this. You can't do anything. You can't get out of that. So
Antigolov's left arm.
yeah, I don't agree with them saying like, oh, he used the cage, he cheated to keep the triangle in. No, that was perfect posture control from him to keep Antigolov from being able to escape. And then people are shitting on Antigolov for trying to land those shots instead of trying to defend the triangle. And in that situation, the triangle was there. It's too late. And him landing those heavy shots, I thought he might get out of it because of those, to be honest. Those were heavy shots. When Craig got up after the fight, after he subbed him, like his face was fucked up. Those were heavy shots.
Oh yeah, and he said he was willing to eat a couple of shots to be able to gain better position for the triangle.
Yeah.
Right. So he knew he had him, and you're absolutely right. I don't think it had anything to do with his toes in the cage or anything like that.
Yeah.
He had his left arm trapped. He framed up against his right leg.
Mm-hmm.
He slowly grabbed his ankle, tightened it up, and then once he caught that angle, it was game over.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Coach Adrian always used to say, "Angles create strangles," right?
Yeah.
So the way that he was able to set that up, I thought was beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And like I said, I love seeing submissions. I think also it got missed by the ref. I think Antigolov tapped like 3 different times.
they're in his defense on this one. I won't defend the ref. They're little baby taps.
Well, because Craig had his arms trapped like this. He had both like Antigolov's like this, and he had his arms trapped against his chest, and you could see him like.
He's like.
Yeah. So yeah, props to I'm not saying it was a bad job by the ref, but I think he tapped more than once.
For sure. And one more thing I want to say is when Antigolov started landing some of those right-handed bombs,
yeah,
you saw Craig now go into an armbar off the triangle position to threaten the armbar, and you see Antigolov right away try to grab his arm. And when he did that, he tightened up the triangle a lot more. Mm-hmm. So I just thought it was so smart the way that he started getting tagged a little bit, started trying to gain position, threatened with the arm in the triangle position, made Antigolov think of something else, and then boom, just sunk in that triangle and tightened it up. Yeah. Again, just beautiful jiu-jitsu by Craig.
By Craig, yeah. And not even just to make him think about something else, but the fact that when you're in a choke, sometimes you can hang on a little bit longer and land those shots. But once you feel that armbar, that's an immediate. All my focus needs to go to that because that arm's about to snap.
Yep.
So it's like I can sit in a choke and land these shots for a little bit longer, but I cannot sit in an armbar and try to land these bombs. So yeah, super sick. Yeah. Super sick.
Genius, man.
Yeah.
Genius. Esparza versus Rodriguez. What do you think? Yeah, that reaction though, that same face throughout the entire fight. Just watch it. Look, we know what we're gonna get with Esparza. We've known what we're gonna get with Esparza since Tough.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed, and she's not the most exciting fighter in the world. We know she's gonna go for a single leg or a double leg. She's probably gonna get it. Yeah, bury her face. She's not going to give a lot of damage from the top position. And for me, what she does is she creates the perception of staying busy for scoring. Yes, yeah, the body up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I still had Esparza winning the fight. Not by much.
By the rule set, she won. It just sucks because as a sport, she won. In a fight, she got fucked up.
Oh, for sure. She looked like a sloth from the Goonies by the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And not a lot of people were talking about the very blatant illegal kick to the head, too. The first one was insane.
Had that in my notes.
The first one was insane. I went back to watch because it looked like maybe Rodriguez was getting up when she got that up kick. No, she was still very much down. That was brutal.
Yep.
That was insane.
That was brutal.
Not even a warning. Not even a look from the ref.
The other one was a questionable head kick as
she was getting up.
Rodriguez was barely standing up too, right? So one thing you didn't point out at the very end, finishing up the fight, I saw some illegal elbows to the back of the head as well. So it was just this. As far as dude, she's gritty, she's tough. Again, we know what we're gonna get from her. Not a big fan of the illegal blows. Might have just been, on the heat of the moment.
Yeah, I don't think she's
trying to
purpose.
defend herself without kick. Yeah. But for me, that type of stuff stands out so much more when your fighting style is the way that Esparza's is, right? Where nothing else stands out to you.
Yeah.
It's just
her most significant strike was illegal.
In some cases. Yeah, and I think that's why it stands out for us so much.
I think you can say her only significant strike was illegal.
Yeah, when you're like, and your only, out of your seat reactions are when they're illegal blows. So of course that's going to be what sticks with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think about Esparza in that division and some fights that might be there for her. I think she was ranked 6th in the division before this fight, and I'm trying to think of somebody that she would fight that would get me excited for that fight. And quite honestly, I don't know. Whoever they put her up against, I guess, good luck to whoever fights her. But I'm not going to be very excited to see her.
Yeah, the only thing that could get me excited is if she somehow decisions her way to fight Zhang Weili. Because if Zhang Weili beats Rose, which I hope she doesn't because I love Rose, but if she does beat Rose, and then somehow Esparza gets a title shot, and then I think she would handily beat Esparza, she would then be able to say that she's beaten all champions of that division, which would be cool. That's the only thing that can excite me out of Esparza is her losing to the champ.
Dude,
no disrespect.
how do you pronounce the name? Zhang Weili?
Zhang Weili.
No disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be an absolute beating if she went up against Esparza.
Yeah.
You know, she won't put up with that, you know, ankle pick shit, and it would be a long night for Esparza, and I think she'd come out looking out a lot worse than his last fight.
Yeah, if Esparza tried to bend the leg wrong, whatever she was attempting, those submission attempts at the end of the first and second round, they weren't knee bars. You know, I don't know what they were, but if she tried that on Zhang Weili, she would get smashed.
Man, and she put herself in such a tough position at the end of the first round.
And then did it again.
Because I think she was decidingly winning that first round just based off of, you know, her wrestling.
She was just trying to put a stamp on the round.
She just went for the ankle, and then Rodriguez is like, what are you doing? Okay, yeah, sure, let's do this. And started beating the shit out of her, top position. And I was like, okay, that's what top work looks like versus when Esparza. You know, so I still barely gave 2 rounds to Esparza, just, again, based off of how the point system is. And, unfortunately I was right. She won 2-1. So
yeah, not the greatest fight. Excited to see Rodriguez continue to fight, though. Her stand-up looks fun.
Yeah.
Just don't give her any
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just let her fight. Her versus Michelle Waterson would be a fun fight.
Would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be a super fun fight.
Hottie, man.
Yeah.
No, I would much rather watch that any day over Esparza versus anybody in that division.
Yeah, same.
Anybody.
Same.
All right, let's move on to the next one, man. Verdum versus the Mauler. Gustafsson.
What a hard thing it is to be a Gustafsson fan, dude.
I know.
It's tough.
I know, man. I was pretty bummed out. And nothing against Verdum. I love Verdum.
Verdum's cool.
I think he's one of the best heavyweights of all time.
I mean, he's a cheater.
I was just so excited. He got popped.
He got popped. He beat my boy Kane.
Yeah.
Broke my heart.
He did.
Broke my heart when he beat Fedor. Broke my heart when he beat Kane. Broke my heart when he beat Gustafsson.
I was excited to see Gustafsson come into a new division. And, you know, after he retired and after his layoff, I wanted him to come in with a bang, you know, and make a statement in the division, beating Verdum. And then right away the conversations were going to start with, well, who should Gustafsson fight next, right? Just super excited. And it didn't happen. Thanks a lot, Verdum.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, I mean, he showed again that he's a world-class jiu-jitsu practitioner.
He's so good on the ground. He's so good.
He's amazing on the ground. And the fact that he even took Gustafsson down, I think, was huge because Gustafsson, from what everybody says, has amazing wrestling takedown defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell he put up a fight.
Yeah, he just got stuck in that.
Down and he took his back.
When Verdum set up the armbar and he was setting up as a belly down armbar, and Gustafsson was kind of in the turtle position defending. Once they sat there for more than like 6 seconds, I was like, the only way out of this with Verdum is if you explode from this position. This is your only chance. And once he didn't, and they transitioned from there, I was like, fuck, man, Verdum is just so good.
That was a beautiful transition too by Verdum. The way that he shifted his weight, rolled Gustafsson over. It was amazing, and then the way that he was able to break that grip. You know, I was literally standing up. I stood up on this part, and I was like, please hold on to that grip. Hold on to that grip. And I was like, shit, he let go of the grip. Oh, he's got it again. It was just a roller coaster of emotion for me the entire time. But then the way that he angled, right, instead of just pulling the arm straight back, he angled it up, and then just was able to pull it over from there. And Gustafsson knew right away that he wanted to live to fight another day, and tapped quickly, as he should, because Verdum can very easily snap his arm.
Yeah.
And it was a quick night. Before that, though, Gustafsson on his feet, he still looked very light.
Yeah, he had the movement at light heavyweight.
Very quick.
Yeah.
He still looked very quick, right? His hands looked great, but man, he went into Verdum's world.
Yeah, I would love to see him fight someone like Volkov. That'd be such a fun fight at heavyweight.
Dude, take my money.
Yeah.
Take my money.
Verdum,
I would love to watch that fight.
Verdum, I don't know if he's going to retire. I know that was his last fight on his contract. I don't know. I doubt the UFC signs him again, to be honest. They might just because it's a heavyweight and it's a name in heavyweight.
Exactly.
But I don't think he's very happy being in the UFC. He's requested his contract to be terminated multiple times already. So I think he would rather get away from USADA and fight in another organization. And no disrespect with that. I get it, you know. I mean, how old is Verdum? He's like 42 or 43 or something like that. How old
He's up
is
there
he?
in age, man. But I mean, he still looked good. I think he looked in better shape
42.
for this fight than he did in his last fight. So he came in more prepared.
Yeah,
I think he took Gustafsson's entrance into the heavyweight division very seriously.
definitely.
And he had said that he wanted to welcome him into the division the right way, and I think he did.
Well, I mean, and Verdum's been in the game for so long, you know that he knows I'm in this position so that they can catapult Gustafsson off of my name and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And you could tell he's like, not today. Not going to
Not
use
today.
me like that.
Not today, Satan.
Yeah.
Not today. Yeah, man. And thinking ahead, I was already thinking about Gustafsson versus Jones,
I
right?
know.
Gustafsson versus some of these big names, and I just got too far ahead of myself, man. And maybe it was because I saw Verdum in his last performance and thought it's not the same Verdum.
If that Verdum showed up, Gustafsson would have ran through him.
Probably been a quick night for Gustafsson,
Yeah.
right? He would have just been collecting a performance of the night bonus and
An
been
extra
looking ahead
tattoo.
as well, but an extra tattoo, man. Yeah, just but yeah, man. Again, I think props to Verdum.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Verdum has been always in the conversation of greatest heavyweights of all time. He's been in that conversation. I mean, you look at his accolades. I mean, the first to beat Fedor, he beat Kane. Like, goddamn. If he beat Stipe,
Yep.
I mean, who's to say? Because part of Stipe's claim to the heavyweight GOAT is knocking out Verdum. But I mean, for a while, everyone was like, yeah, he's the best heavyweight we've ever seen. His record is insane.
Ever since he stopped making that stupid smile as he was entering the octagon,
Yeah.
I feel like he's gotten better, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bad look when you walk to the octagon looking like that and then Stipe sleeps you while you're charging in on him.
Well, he's taking a step back.
Yeah.
Exactly. Man, so in this card, there's two fights that I kind of wasn't looking forward to, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of them was this part of the fight. I think I already expressed my disdain for
good
that
reasons.
fight. Yes, and then the next one was Shogun versus Little Nog.
Yeah.
Just because they're both, having to use their AARP cards before they go into the building.
Yeah.
And I figured, how much more exciting can this fight be? But man,
So
I was thoroughly entertained.
Here's my story.
Thoroughly entertained.
This is my story of the fight.
Okay.
I thought for sure it was going to be Chimaev, just because obviously I was high on him we talked about it in the last episode or whenever he last fought. And so I was like, and plus the record, 10 days notice, that's insane. I don't know if that'll ever get beat. That's so fast. But so I thought for sure that was going to be my story of the fight. And it is great, and it almost was, but man, Shogun versus Little Nog 3. Going into it, I was like, first of all, why are they in the co-main? And I don't want to see one of these guys get brutally knocked out off the first punch that lands. Like, Shogun has, to Shogun's credit, he knocked out Tyson Pedro 2 fights ago. He fought Paul Craig to a draw. It's not like he's getting absolutely slaughtered, but he is at that point in his career where it's like, do I even really want to watch him fight anymore? And Little Nog is past that point. It's like, I mean, the guy, his brother's retired. His twin brother's already retired. Like, you have nothing left to show or prove. Like, what? Like, you're never gonna fight for the belt again. What are we doing?
He's a legend.
Yeah. So what do we do here? You fight another legend for the third time, and they put on a fucking banger, dude. That fight was so sick. I was like,
I loved it.
Yeah, going into it, I was like, I don't even really want to watch this, but I have to just because who they are, which is the same as when Wanderlei still fights or Rampage fights again or all these guys. But like, man, Shogun versus Nogueira 3, dude, so sick. It was like obviously much slower than their first 2 fights and what we've seen from the past. But dude, they were trading bombs, absolute bombs, mixing in takedowns. Both of them were landing takedowns. and top control that is very reminiscent of that old school. I took you down because I want to beat your ass, not just hold you here. Like, they weren't just laying there for control or anything like that. Using takedowns to change momentum of rounds. Just such a deep understanding of what, like, at its core, what the sport is, you know? No point fighting, but just like, fuck, dude, just two gamers. And you look at their accolades, man, like, I'm going to go Little Nog first, but like, we go back 2001. 2001 was his first fight, 19 years ago.
Wow.
And he wins by armbar. Next year he wins again. Then he wins by guillotine choke. He loses to Vladimir Matyushenko. Not a bad decision, you know. Like, that's nothing to hold your head about. Matyushenko was a savage. He beats Guy Metzger with a split decision. That's fucking awesome. This is at middleweight. Also with a 10-minute first round. Just legendary shit. He was supposed to fight Kimo Leopoldo. That got canceled. He fights Sakuraba in 2003. He wins by a unanimous decision, again with a 10-minute first round. A 10-minute first round against Kazushi Sakuraba, that's a hard round to survive. He beats Alistair Overeem at middleweight in 2005. 2 months later, he armbars Dan Henderson. He loses to Shogun in their first fight, which was legendary. Tapology has it as number 43 of greatest fight of all time, number 7 of greatest light heavyweight fight of all time.
Sick.
Just absolutely legendary. He fights Overeem again, stops him in the second round, loses to Sokoju. Like, dude, these names, just insane. He goes and fights Matyushenko over in Affliction when Affliction bought everybody, and he beats him. He gets that win back, avenges his loss. Louise Kane, Jason Brills, loses to Ryan Bader. Phil Davis, Rich Franklin had a canceled fight against him. He was supposed to fight Tito Ortiz once. That was canceled. He ends up fighting him, and he finishes him in the first round. Beat Rashad Evans, and then at that point it's late in his career and he's losing these fights. Knocks out Sam Alvey in 2018. Like, just legendary shit, man. Like, both Nogueira brothers, so sick. And then, even more impressive in my opinion, you look at Shogun. And sorry, this is just a recap of their careers, not the most entertaining thing, but just going through the names, like his third fight in 2003, fights Cyborg Santos, finishes him at 9 minutes and 22 seconds of the first round. But, like, that's fucking legendary, man. Loses to Renato Sobral. Soccer kicks at 9 minutes into the first round. Soccer kick finishes Akihiro Gono in Pride in 2004. Soccer kicks Rampage Jackson in 2005. Then he fights Lil Nog for the first time, beats him in that war. Then he fights Overeem, KOs Overeem in the first round. KOs Ricardo Arona in the first round. Fights Mark Coleman, loses the fight, but Mark Coleman. Knee bars Kevin Randleman in the first round. That's fucking insane. Knocks out Overeem again. Fights Forrest Griffin, supposed to fight Chuck Liddell, that gets canceled. He finishes in the third round Mark Coleman in 2009, gets that win back. Fights Chuck Liddell, finishes him in the first round. Loses to Lyoto Machida, and then beats Lyoto Machida in an immediate rematch to win the belt. Like, just insane. Obviously, then he loses to John Jones, but then he fights Forrest Griffin, Dan Henderson, Brandon Vera, Alexander Gustafsson, Chael Sonnen, James DeHuno, Dan Henderson again, Owen St. Preux, Little Nog again, Corey Anderson, beats John Vellante, loses to Anthony Smith, knocks out Tyson Pedro 2 years ago, fights Paul Craig to a draw, and then now the trilogy fight with Little Nog. Like, fucking absolute legends. Like, sorry that took forever, but son of a bitch, man. Like, how do you not respect what these two guys have done? And then to go into this fight, both just older than dinosaurs, and to put on a fight like that, so sick. The shots they were taking and landing, it's fucking war.
It was old school shoot box versus Brazilian top team war.
Just
and I
absolute
freaking loved it. Yeah, it was like going back in time, man. And with Nogueira, I was pretty impressed because I know that they've slowed down since
Yeah.
their first fight, but his hand speed was still surprisingly
And
quick.
Shogun even said he was surprised at that. Shogun was like, "Yeah, we were not expecting his hand speed and how heavy his shots were. They were heavy as fuck."
Yeah, man. And maybe knowing that it was his last fight, he just gave it everything he had, and I think you saw the surprise in Shogun when he started going for the takedowns because before the fight he had said, "We're not going to have any
They had an
takedowns in this
agreement.
fight. It's just going to be a stand and bang. Let's do it." And then he got caught with a couple of those left hooks because he was leading with the left
Yeah.
hooks quite a bit.
Mhm. They were
Little Nog,
landing.
and we could tell he caught him off guard, and he was like, "Well, shit, we might need to go to Plan B." And
Gonna change the game a little bit.
what Aljamain Sterling on that tweet is like, man, he broke the rule of the
Yeah.
streets and had the takedown. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but after that initial takedown in the first round, I think that's what changed everything for Shogun after that,
Mhm.
because then that allowed for the level changes in the second round, and it opened up some shots for Shogun with
Yeah.
the right hand after he was going for that level change. So it made for a very entertaining fight. Both of them look good. And I don't know if you remember, but last year they were talking about Shogun possibly making another title run.
Yeah.
Just last year,
Yeah.
he had gone like on a 4-fight win streak, was it?
Well, I mean, yeah, and
And
light heavyweight, and only in light
yeah,
heavyweight division, you know. I mean, he
yeah,
knocked
yeah,
out
yeah. But
Tyson
still, I
Pedro
mean, we're talking about a guy that's been around, like you said, forever.
since 2000.
He was in talks of making another title run, and here he is still putting out bangers, man.
Yeah.
Like it was a fun fight.
The only thing that kind of bums me out with this fight is I love Shogun. I would say I'm more of a Shogun fan than I am a Nogueira fan, but I kind of did want Nogueira to win that just because they fought. This is the third time they fought. Now it's 3-0 on Shogun's side. It would have been kind of cool to just let him in his retirement fight get that win.
Yeah.
You know he probably wants it so bad. And the only other thing that kind of bums me out is I wish Shogun would retire with that fight. What a perfect fight to end his career on.
Both of them retiring together,
Yeah.
after that trilogy. Yeah, I think that's another reason that I wasn't really looking forward to the fight was because of the fact that it was a trilogy,
Mhm.
but it was a lopsided trilogy
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a rubber match or anything like that. It was just, hey, here's a couple legends
Let's
looking
see
for
if
a
Nogueira can do
fight.
it this
Like,
time.
let's do it,
Yeah.
But I'm glad they did, man. It was an awesome fight, and I
Fun
think it's
fight.
a nice pick for you for story of the fight for sure.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for the. There's not very many pride never die. You know what I mean? Like, there's not very many left. You know.
There isn't. All right, man. Let's move on here. We got Whitaker versus Till. I think this fight delivered.
I think it delivered. Definitely. Great fight. Super fun fight. I don't know if
Yep.
it's a fight that I'm gonna be jumping at to rewatch, um, but super fun fight live. Watching it live was sick.
I think we got to see two fighters, right? I think both of them are in their prime right now. Come in with very good game plans,
Mhm.
and both of them execute their game plans. You saw phenomenal striking from both ends. Till, man, he's just so crisp. His
Yeah.
shots don't take up very much energy. He's very efficient.
No wasted angle or
And
anything.
no, man, I just love Till striking. I'm a huge Till fan.
Mhm.
And when I also think about Robert Whitaker, you still see that explosiveness, and he had to charge a few times to be able to close that distance. And some of these shots seemed a little loopy. If any of those shots would have connected, it would have been a different story, I think, for the
Yeah.
night. But again, I think Till expected this, came in with a very good game plan,
The elbow.
and every single time Till would come in, yeah, he'd come in with something really short, but it would always be a combo. When he'd come in aggressive, it'd be 2, 3 shots,
Mhm.
and then you would see him take 2 or 3 big steps back because he knew Whitaker would respond with a looping
Yeah.
right or a head kick,
Mhm.
right? So it was just a great performance by Till. I know he lost, but in my book, his stock rose
Yeah.
after the fight.
Definitely. And I think what won the fight for Whitaker was just that champion experience and the champion
Hmm.
like mentality. To lose that first round like he did, he got dropped with that elbow as he came in. That elbow was nasty by Till.
It was.
Dropped him, recovered well, showed that his chin is not gone. That's a question mark because the wars he's had with Romero, he got KO'd by Izzy. So people are like, did Izzy KO him because of the wars with Romero? Is his chin gone? I don't think so. I think Izzy just hits hard as fuck with those counters. So it's cool to see his chin hold up. He did get dropped, yeah, but he came back right away. But to lose that first round handedly, I thought Till took that round easy. And not just took it, but fucked him up in it. To answer back with the second round that Whitaker had, just shows that like champion mentality of, okay, you took that one, but I'm gonna take this one back, and he did. I thought he won the second round more handedly than Till won the first round. It was like the pendulum swung way back. Then again, you see that same type of mentality and ability to push himself to achieve the results that he wanted with that mentality is in that fifth round. He was getting fucked up a little bit. And then his answer to just... You can argue the takedowns weren't real takedowns because Till popped up, and props to Till for popping right back up. But the fact that he was able to secure them for even just a second at the end of that fifth round, both of those takedowns, I'm not going to let you stay standing right here. Like, I'm going to get these fucking takedowns. Like, because he was shooting and Till was doing a great job defending the whole fight. But then you see him realize that he needs to answer back with takedowns, and all of a sudden he's able to at least get him to the ground, even if it's just for a few seconds. His ability to just almost like... It's not like he changed his technique in a crazy way to get those takedowns. It's just he put way more into them. Where it's like, if you don't think he was going 100% with those shots in the first place, you're crazy, because those last two that he did actually get him down, I mean, that's he's digging back into that champion level and getting an extra 30% on top of that and throwing like 130% takedowns, because those were fucking impressive. Just the fact that he's able to answer back and realize in the fight, I need a big answer here. I'm gonna get these fucking takedowns. Is just sick to watch.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I think those takedowns at the very end won it, because I had it 3 rounds to 2, and going into the fifth round, I had it 2-2. I gave the first round to Till, 2 and 3 to Whitaker, and then 4 to Till. And I thought whoever wins this last round is really going to win the fight. And it was just so back and forth. Till came out more aggressive in that fifth round, and I would have loved to see him have that aggressiveness since the third round. And I know that they're kind of filling each other out. Till did an excellent job. He had a lot of feints the entire time, and I think he was feigning to see the reaction from Whitaker to get the timing down. I think he really used that for timing a lot, and I think he did a really good job with that. In the beginning, Whitaker had that solid left jab that just stopped Till in his tracks. Like, Till came in, he's like, all right, this is going to be aggressive. Let's go. Okay, never mind. All right, here we go again. Superman punch. Stopped in my tracks. So I would have loved to see Whitaker use that left jab a lot more, because it worked in the very beginning, and I think it would have continued working throughout the rest of the fight. What really started turning it around for him, though, were those calf kicks.
Yeah,
and
really
you
good.
even hear Darren Till in the corner say, I can't stand on my leg,
Well, so,
and he's like, I don't know what to...
Did you see in the second round, and this is another reason I think his aggressiveness dropped, was Whitaker landed that lead leg stomp to the knee that Romero landed on Whitaker.
Oh, yeah.
And Till said he heard...
that blew his knee out.
Yeah, Till said he heard like 3 pops when he landed that, and he just couldn't do anything with that leg. So now he was much more static for the rest of the fight, and I think that was what threw off his output for the rest of the fight, because that happened in the second round.
And I mean, that says a lot about Till and his toughness too, because he still looked good the rest of the fight, and I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, Whitaker did what he had to do, championship mentality in those championship rounds. But I mean, overall, I really, really enjoyed the fight.
Yeah.
It was funny too, because we think about the no fans and the fact that we could hear everything. We also have to think about the fact that the fighters can hear quite a bit too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you noticed, but after Till in the corner said, "I can't stand on the leg. I can't. What do you say? I can't push off of it."
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Hardy's like, he's whispering into Mike. He's like, Till just said that his leg's pretty beat up, and you can tell he's whispering because he doesn't want, Whitaker to hear on the other end.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to give anybody that type of advantage, right? So I just thought that was really interesting too.
Unlike Bisping yelling, "Keep your hands up, Poirier! What are you doing?" But yeah,
exactly.
What a cool fight, and I think Whitaker's ability to lose that first round, get dropped in the first round, come back and have the second round that he did, speaks to his just the championship heart and championship or champion experience. That Till hasn't quite gotten yet because Till wasn't able to answer the second round that Whitaker had. He wasn't able to come out and say, yeah, he took that one. I need, and part of that is probably because his knee got fucked up in that round. Yeah, Whitaker, man, so sick. I don't know if I want to see him fight Izzy again, anytime soon at least. But Robert Whitaker is just so cool. He's such a cool guy too,
Definitely, man. I really enjoy both of those fighters, and it was really hard for me to pick a winner going into that.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy watching both of them fight. I think they're cool people, right? Whitaker being more of a, cool, respectful fighter, and Till being more of a funnier fighter.
One of the funniest.
I just like both of their I like both of their personalities. So it was hard to pick a winner, but I think they both delivered again. And for Till, I think Till showed that he's absolutely 100% in the right division.
Yeah.
He can hang with the former champion, Whitaker. And if it wasn't for that knee stomp, who knows? It might be a different story. We don't know. But even with that, he still held his own. And it was nice to see Till at the end of the fight post on Instagram as well, that he felt good about it.
Yeah.
That he felt good even after the loss.
Even the post-fight presser, he's like, I've never felt like this after a loss. I'm totally cool with it. That was a super high-level fight. He said it was the most stressful fight he's ever been in, mentally, which makes sense because, man, they both making adjustments the whole fight, landing shots. I don't know what's next for Till in that division. I would love to see Whitaker fight. If Izzy beats Paulo Costa, which I think he will, I would love to see Whitaker versus Costa. I think Cannonier. If Izzy beats Costa, I think Cannonier should fight Izzy next. And I don't know where that leaves Till.
I mean, I think we might see a rematch between Whitaker and Izzy after this last W for Whitaker, and I wouldn't mind seeing that either, honestly.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I don't see it really going any other way. Other than maybe if Izzy doesn't finish Whitaker, I still think he would beat him to a decision. But I think if it's hard to, since Izzy knocked out Whitaker the way he did, I think it'd be hard to have him jump in front of Cannonier, because Cannonier has been starching everybody, So
Yep.
I don't know if they risk Cannonier's title shot as a new opponent to Izzy if Izzy beats Costa with a fight against Whitaker for a title eliminator.
Yeah.
I thought if Till beat Whitaker, I thought he would be next if Izzy defends against Costa. And then you can have Whitaker versus Cannonier in the meantime. But I don't know now. I would love to see Cannonier fight for the belt, though. He's fun to watch. Former heavyweight.
Either way, I feel like there's a lot of exciting fights coming up for both Till and Whitaker.
That division's fun.
Whatever they decide to throw out their way.
Yeah, that's a cool division. Paulo Costa, Izzy, Cannonier, Whitaker, Till. If you just throw them all in a ball and shake it up, and then you just pick two out, no matter what, it's fun.
It'd be a fun fight.
Yeah, that whole top five is just fun as hell.
So that was the last of the Fight Island fights right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited and thankful for Fight Island.
Yeah.
And when in the time where MLB shut down, in a time where NBA shut down, in a time where the world shut down. As much shit as anybody wants to talk about Dana White, he figured out a way to make this happen, to give all the viewers, all the fans entertainment, to keep his fighters safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there have been fighters, cornermen that have been testing positive, but you haven't heard of any major outbreaks. You know, so
anything, it's good that they tested positive. It's not a bad thing for the UFC. It's not a bad look for the UFC. These people test positive, and it shows we're doing our job right. And we're not allowing it to get further. Like they kept saying, we think Abu Dhabi right now, at least Fight Island, is the safest place on earth, and it probably is. You know.
Yeah, and so I'm extremely thankful for the UFC. Props to Dana for making this happen. You know, when everybody kept on pushing back. You know, he ran into some road bumps as well where he was going to have it in California.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, wait a second. This would be a bad look for us if we allow this to happen here.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they're going to have it at, was it an Indian reservation or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, it seemed like Disney stepped in because they're like, well, this would be a bad look for us.
Well, Disney stepped in because Newsom was like, listen, fuckers. And they were like, oh, okay.
Exactly like that.
Yeah. I hope.
No, and so seriously though, props to the UFC, props to Dana White, because this whole Fight Island experience was amazing.
So cool.
And there's still more to come, man.
Yeah,
there's still more to come.
I hate that people are like, oh, it's not even a real island. They misled us. It's like, you're getting fights. Shut the fuck up.
Shut up. Shut your face.
Yeah.
Just enjoy the fights. You know, because of this, we've had what would have been considered international fights, right? Whether they were in Brazil or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
We're having the fighters be able to fly somewhere else, international fighters, so that we can actually get these fights going. So just anybody complaining about it being misled, just shut up.
Yeah.
Just, you know, don't even watch.
Yeah.
Don't even.
Stop.
Don't even look at it.
Why even try to find something to complain about when we're getting fights like Poirier versus Hooker, and we're getting like all these insane fights, and it's like
great fights.
Yeah, insane fights. And someone like Chimaev can come in to a new UFC contract and win an extra $100,000 in a time where he probably can't make any money elsewhere right now. You know, so it's like you're giving opportunity to these fighters to do this.
In my mind, a star was born.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
On Fight Island, and that was Chimaev.
Yeah.
Again, he was my story of the fight this time. I told you. I'm on Chimaev's nuts going forward.
He might be story of Fight Island. If we do a story of the whole episode that the UFC just did over there, or season that they just did over there, he might be the story of the whole venture, you know?
Well, dang. Well, that probably would have been a really good episode, but now that you mention it now, I don't know if it's going to have the same flair, bro.
What do you mean? The story?
No, it's all good, man. Story of Fight Island?
The story of Fight Island. Yeah. We could have done a... Fuck it.
All right, man. Well, that's all I got. Do you have anything else, Will?
No. That's it.
Awesome. Well, that was Story of the Fight. Thanks for listening, everybody.
If you want to keep updated with what we're doing, you can follow us at Story of the Fight on Instagram. And if you want to submit anything that you want us to talk about or have any questions about anything, you can email us at storyofthefight@gmail.com.
Also, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, and when you do, that little bell pops up right next to it. Click on that as well so you get notified whenever we do anything new, whenever we upload anything new. And also, don't forget to hit that like button. It goes a long way for us, everybody. Thanks a lot for listening to Story of the Fight.